Ha!
Jesus Christ.
Rachel.
Where are the drugs?
Where is she?
¿Dónde están los drogos?
Where are the drugs going?
Where are the other drugs going?
Which one of those do you smell out of?
The silly drugs.
I'm gonna have to watch that clip
Where are
later.
the other drugs going, huh?
Your face is wet like mine was at the beginning, and yours was after.
They put all of those videos in one
Are
big,
you
like,
right?
color fucking cut. It's amazing.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The best one is just ¿Dónde están los drogos?
Los drugos. Welcome to another edition of the Harsh Language Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle.
Start recording, Jesus.
Joined about like two
Give us
and a
warning.
half minutes ago. No, I like these like kind of weird cold openings. It's
How dare you?
makes me hard. I'm joined by, as always, Marvel's Matt
What's going on?
and Marvel's Frank.
Hello there.
Today, first, and I noticed too that one of the episodes we posted did not have a save word because we're so fucking professional now. But I think today's one is going to be Nantucket.
Nantucket.
All right. Let's see how many times we cannot say it this time. So Disney they've already released it, right? On Disney Plus, Mulan, the live action movie that was delayed earlier this year because of pandemic reasons.
Yeah, it was delayed a couple of times, but they basically said, yeah, we're tired of delaying this. I'm paraphrasing, obviously. We're just gonna
No, I
skip
think that
it.
was the press statement. They were like,
Yeah,
fuck
yeah.
it. You want Mulan? Fuck
We're
yourself.
tired of you assholes complaining that you didn't get Mulan.
Yeah, Bob Iger just tweeted it out. Hey, bitches, eat shit. That would have been amazing.
You want it? You got it, fuckers. Enjoy.
Y'all fuckers asked for this, right? Here you go.
Mulan is going to be a $30 fee. If you you have to have a Disney Plus subscription.
On top of Disney Plus.
So
it's $36.
Yeah, it's Disney. It's $5.99 a month for Disney Plus, and then you'll be able to rent/own the live-action remake of Mulan. Yeah, borrow basically of Mulan, which was supposed to be a big tentpole summer release for them for $30. And at first, the internet went nuts because premium rentals have not been uncommon now that a lot of movies are going straight to VOD. It's kind of become relatively normal now because we don't know when theaters are going to reopen and studios need to make some of that money back. So $30, and then they're like, no, it's not $30 just to rent it. You own it, but it's $30 on top of your Disney Plus rental fee, your Disney Plus subscription fee every month. And then if you no longer subscribe to Disney Plus, you lose access to the $30 movie that you bought. So you own it.
You can't download it, right, to a device or anything like that.
Right. So
you can download it until you can't have it anymore.
Exactly, but then it won't
Because
play.
with the Disney Plus app, you can download it, but after however long you have to, it's like refresh the license or something.
Yeah, it has to phone home at some point.
Yes.
Yeah,
For that
it's
DRM.
got to ping their server.
That's sweet DRM.
And basically, you won't have access to it anymore if you decide to stop subscribing to Disney Plus.
So basically, what I'm gathering,
they're holding you hostage. Basically, it's
no,
really
you're just it's a new, instead of renting or buying, you're loaning it.
Yeah,
right?
You're paying
that's
$30
the positive
for early access as opposed to waiting to buy the
Right.
DVD version.
Right.
Well, thank God Disney's just doing this with Mulan. And it's not like they would do this to other properties like Star Wars or Indiana Jones or anything else that you might or might not like. Yeah, Marvel, the entire fucking library. Yeah, they won't ever do something like that in the future.
I'm sure that this will never happen again, and it definitely won't become the norm. And we definitely aren't hurtling towards that dark future where you never own anything. You're just paying to access it in perpetuity. And the second you stop paying, you lose all the money that you've invested and access to your media, because that definitely won't ever happen.
Yeah, but you know what, Matt? Your household had the gift of Mulan for as long as you were able to pay that blood
You
money.
can get down
God
to
damn it.
business to defeat the Huns.
Yes, yes. Oh God, what is happening to the world?
I mean, right now Disney only has the $6.99 tier, right?
Yeah, it's well, there's only one tier. Yeah, it's six. I think it's $5.99 a month, or it's like $99 a year or something. You save some money if you do it the whole year.
Well, maybe in the future they'll have a premium tier where they'll release like a cut of like Rise of Skywalker that's like not shit, but I don't think that's possible. Or any of their other properties that they've ruined over time. Who thought Disney buying everything was a good idea?
Yeah, everybody seemed really enthusiastic about it initially.
Stay on the Monopoly, May. I'm just saying.
Right.
What the fuck?
Yeah, who thought that having one company own roughly 80% of pop culture was a good idea?
Yeah. Yeah, how could that be damaging at all? Not only to the properties,
Fox,
but
they own Predator, they own Aliens, they own Die Hard, they own everything. They own Disney, they have Star Wars, they have Pixar, they have Disney Animation with all the Disney princesses and all that shit. So they got girls, they got boys, they got something for everybody, all under one roof. And if you don't
got
like
girls, they got boys, they got women and toys.
It's just short. I mean, that's why they bought Marvel, right? Because I remember back in the day, they were like, "Listen, we own the market on entertainment for primarily directed at little girls, but little boys, it wasn't." I feel very uncomfortable having this conversation.
No, I don't. Keep going. I want to keep going. That noose is tightening ever so slightly.
It's like, they don't have a lot of entertainment geared towards little boys, so they went out and bought Marvel, and then Star Wars came their way, and now they own the dollars of everybody.
Yeah, to be fair, Disney didn't really have that market, for young children, so you can't really fault them for trying to grab everything that they could.
For generally speaking, for young male, generally speaking. But
no, I'm fucking joking. The fucking the House of Mouse, for Christ's sake, there was something for everybody. God damn it, young and old, and then they just had to have it all, and no one stopped them.
No.
I wonder, is this how we get to the cyberpunk future? Right. So, all right. So, hear me out.
With each passing day, Blade Runner becomes closer to reality.
Right. And so if we dodge this Corona death thing, right, and fucking somehow we the Last of Us, not that shitty game, actually make it forward, is this how we get to Weyland Yutani and whatever the company was in Blade Runner? Because I forget. I'm sure you remember, Matt, or maybe not. Doesn't it begin with T? It's
the
Terrell Corporation. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, is this how Disney just becomes Disney, and we have to there's no Walmart, there's no Amazon, it's just go buy your food from Disney and your movie from Disney and your clothes from Disney.
Don't talk about their next purchases, Kyle.
You don't own your clothes. You have to fucking load them out as long as you have the Disney clothes subscription fee.
You're renting a subscription, you can wear pants today.
Joke's on you. I don't like to.
We're basically heading towards a future where because the world and the environment have become so destroyed by nuclear holocaust, where we're all going to be forced to wear rebreather suits, and they'll have a digital turn-off switch where if you don't pay your monthly fee, they turn off your oxygen supply.
But the hazmat suit will look like one of your favorite Disney characters.
Right? There you go.
Yes. My hazmat suit looks like Iron Man, so it's all good. Listen, I'm gonna miss my mom.
Yeah, but what generation Iron Man? Look at the lineup.
Right? Exactly. You got the Aqua suit, you got the War Machine.
Listen, I'm gonna miss my mom, but she did miss her payments, so that's all I'm saying.
That's on her. That's not on you. Sorry.
Not covering anybody else's. So
that's right.
We told you to respect the corporate overlords, but
my suit off.
It's like you know how in the famous shots of Blade Runner where it's all the giant corporations or heavy Chinese influence, and you have the giant Coke signs, the giant Atari signs, but we're basically rocketing towards what science fiction has been teasing for decades of,
or even what was the Tommy Cruise movie, Minority Report, right, where he's walking through and all the advertisements are literally targeting him because they can scan your retinas and your chip and shit,
which already happens.
Oh God. Oh boy.
I mean, we're already halfway there, right? Because your phone is listening to you all the time. So
Yeah, all the time.
right now, I'm going to say the word air conditioner, and when I go to my phone later, I'm going to get a fucking pop-up ad for sales on air conditioners.
Yeah, if you open Facebook, there's going to be a ton of air conditioners.
Well, considering what I talk about on like a daily basis, the ads I kind of like because they're curated towards me. So it's like a lot of gun shit and a lot of other
like
things.
This video game.
Yeah, fucking why not? Good God.
It's we're headed towards like remember in the Sylvester Stallone movie Demolition Man, where
Fuck
it's
yeah,
like
I do.
yeah the mega corporations took over and like the only restaurant left is Taco Bell.
The fast food wars. Taco Bell was the only one to survive.
Right. It's we're definitely headed towards that kind of future, and kind of wrap it back on topic a little bit. I think that this is I'm actually behind paying premium rental fees. I don't think that's a bad idea. If they're gonna skip theatrical releases, they have to make the money back somehow. It can't be $5.99 like a normal rental. I get that. I'd pay $20. I think 30 is too much. I know they have to project for there might be 8 people in the room, so we're losing money. I get that.
Yeah, but I don't buy that though. That they have to make them like the premium fee. I don't buy that though.
Well,
because like
why?
because am I not understanding it, or am I understanding like the premium fee is like in place of what exactly? Like, because if the average movie ticket before everything went to hell and death was like what, like $12-13,
somewhere around
so
like $12, yeah.
So why the fuck is $30 like?
Because I just said because they're compensating for the fact that I would assume the percentages are it's not one person sitting in a room renting this movie for $5.99 like the normal VOD rental price. It's a couple or a family with their kids.
Oh no! Each person in the room has to have their own Disney subscription for this thing to work.
Yeah.
It scans your retinas, and then if you don't have it and you try to watch it, it blinds you.
I was just saying, it's just gonna upload a virus into your fucking synapses.
Your TV just shoots acid spit like an alien right in your face. It's. No, but it's
it knows you have like epilepsy, so it does like a strobe, and then just fucking puts you into a seizure.
Well, of course, because Disney Plus, in order to get the subscription, you have to send in a blood sample, so they have your DNA on file.
Death is the only way out.
Yes, and even then, they just tax your children to come after your subscription fees. But it's
fuck.
No, but I do get the reason for premium pricing. Plus, they got to recoup the budget, right? So if it's $5.99 a rental versus like an average $13 per person ticket, you're not going to make anywhere near as much money on VOD unless you raise the price. So from their perspective,
maybe don't make something so fucking big budget. Then
there's arguments for that too. But say Mulan had, I would feel comfortable guessing like $150 million budget, if not more.
Probably,
if not more, right? They're not going to make. To be profitable, the general rule is for most movies is they have to make triple their budget, which is crazy. But
advertising and all
right,
other...
the budget is only the production budget. That doesn't include the promotion materials. That doesn't include paying the distribution fees. That doesn't.
Are you saying triple the cost back, as in to justify it being made, or justify a sequel?
To justify being profitable. That's the general rule.
Yeah, because that's an interesting like fucking.
That's a whole other deep dive.
Right.
But if your movie was budgeted for $10 million, you need to make $30 million to turn a profit.
No, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it used to be that, like, oh, if you made that much, then, hey, greenlight a sequel. But now, it's like, no, we have to, like, this justifies, like, us even having this concept and bringing it to fruition. Like, fucking A.
Basically, yeah. And I don't know that that's even the fast and loose number for sequels anymore. But the number might be higher than 3 times the money. I'm not sure, but I'm sure it's all relative to the budget of the film, but
yeah, or the market or genre, some fucking crazy shit too. I'm sure there's all sorts of analytics that go into, or algorithms that go into whether or not this was worth fucking making or not. Even though I am confused by some of these big budget, quote unquote, movies that get released.
Yeah. I mean,
who fucking asked for this? I don't.
Movie math is famously fuzzy at best. I mean, there were years where I remember reading. I'll tie this back to the justification for the premium rental in a second, but there were stories for years, right, where before George Lucas sold Lucasfilm to Disney, that Return of the Jedi, this is in the 2000s now, had had still technically, the movie came out in 1983. The story I read was in the early 2000s. That technically on paper, Return of the Jedi had not turned a profit. I mean, like,
what?
Yeah, exactly. Because there was always like some fucking loophole that they were taking advantage of, like either royalties that had to be paid, or the distribute. What, I don't remember the specifics. I just remember that sticking out in my mind, like, oh my god, are you fucking serious? Yeah, movie accounting is famously a bunch of horseshit.
Oh yeah. Oh.
It's like the shadiest of all math, but I do understand the cost of a premium rental. I just think it's super shitty that if you no longer have your subscription to Disney Plus, that you won't be able to view this $30 movie. Like before the podcast, right? We're talking about services like Vudu and Ultraviolet. Ultraviolet went away, where basically you would purchase a movie and you would then get a digital code, and the movie was yours to own. Or if you bought a physical copy, you'd get a code and you get a digital copy for free. Things like that. If I'm paying $30 and I quote unquote buy the movie, which buy in the digital world has become a whole new definition, I should be able to download that to my Xbox, download it to my phone or my tablet, and that's mine regardless of whether I continue to pay $5.99 in perpetuity. That's bullshit. That movie should be mine. This whole concept of you're essentially paying to lease things in perpetuity is complete horseshit. You never own anything, right? That's like it's the new debt, right? You don't own your games. You pay, if you're Xbox, you have Game Pass. If you subscribe to various streaming services, to, movies come and go as the license agreements expire for what they can stream. You don't really ever buy anything. You don't ever really own anything. You just continue paying to have access to it forever. And that's why I prefer physical media for movies, because if I want my movie, I want to fucking own that movie.
Well, but do you think that, like, much like, the binge watching and like the cable cutters and all these other trends we've talked about in the past, is this where it's going, like, naturally, or do you think it's the
I think there are
the company's trying to push it that way?
I think that there are, by the day, far fewer people like me than there are. And don't get me wrong, I love the stream. I love the convenience and all that. I'm not one of those grumpy old dudes in a chair who wants to go back to VHS. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I just think that what's going on with DRM, digital rights management, is horseshit. I think that if you buy something, even digitally, you should be able to own it forever. I don't think enough people care. I think people are dumb or lazy or both, or even uninformed, and they're perfectly content to just keep paying $6-7 a month forever to stream whatever, whenever, and they don't care that they're basically being taken advantage of.
Yeah, but I think your average consumer too would just look at the price and go, "Yeah, fuck that. I'll wait till that shit." Especially nowadays, right? With the fight for the dollar being ever more present, just because of the circumstances we all find ourselves in. So I guess that's like a counter to it. But again, the other three reasons you listed, most people probably just go along with it because fuck it. Why?
Well, it's a convenient thing. Let's face it.
I think people are far too easy these days to just give in to the whims of corporate overlords. And nobody wants to resist or be patient. Everybody's like, well, they got us over a barrel, so I guess we got to do it. It's like, no, you don't. You vote with your wallet, right? Vote with your wallet. If you're not giving them money, they're going to know you're displeased. People only get away with, and companies only get away with, as much as you let them. If you go out every year and you buy a new iPhone for $1,500 every single year, then they're going to keep fucking doing it every single year. They're going to keep charging that much. They're going to keep raising the price every year. Your top of the line maxed out iPhone, $1,500. Then they're going to keep doing it. Then they're going to see if they can get away with 16. They're going to see if they can get away with 17. And if you keep buying it, then you're letting them do it. You're part of the problem.
Now, I completely agree with you, and I'm also a free market kind of guy, that I think at the very least 90% of economics should be based on a free market. Obviously, you need regulation here and there. But, again, vote with your wallet is the most, truest fucking form of voting there is, right? Yep. But since we've let, and whether it's our country, other countries the world over, since we've let corporations basically get out of fucking control, do we really have that choice? Like, not to go all fucking meta and shit, but or I'll say this, I think it's harder and harder to vote with your wallet because, again, so for example, if Disney locks all this shit down, like that they own, right? Like the Star Wars fucking movies, for instance, in that you can only go through Disney to buy these fucking things or to lease them or whatever the fuck you want to call it. So now you're fucked, right? Because if you really like Star Wars, you got to pay to the Mouse House. And like, yeah, you could vote with your dollars, but then also now you're not going to see those movies that you know what I'm saying? So it's.
No, I got you.
And again, this is devil's advocate because again, free market all the fucking way and voting. Like, I mean, video games, right? The analogy is like stop fucking pre-ordering shit, and we wouldn't have all the issues that we have. Honestly, like it's one thing to market a game as like early access or in beta or a fucking work in progress. I'm willing to accept that. But the idea
a lot of those games too, not to interrupt you too much here, is when they do like an early access or a beta, they'll do a much lower price point, so it's really like you're helping the developer.
Yeah.
Like Steam, for example, you look at games like Subnautica originally came out there, and it was, you know, like a $10, $15, $20 game that was in beta, and everything people did helped them make it better. And then they released it for like a full price.
Yeah, that's a good example of something more positive, but
yeah, but then you get things where it's like a full price $60 game, which I tend to see more on consoles, I think, than I do on
100%.
PC.
There is a big problem with stuff like that.
And
I'm
it's
not
just
a fan
like
at all of pre-ordering in the digital age. There's no need to pre-order. They're not going to run out of digital downloads. You know what I mean? Pre-ordering was, you know, there's only so many copies this GameStop is going to get. And if you want to get your copy, then you need to pre-order.
Back in the day before everything was downloadable.
Right, and you know, I would say that probably most people download their games now than went out to a brick and mortar store. So why are you pre-ordering a download? It's always going to be there for you. Sorry, that's kind of off topic. But.
So is that kind of the same argument though for the movies? Is that what people are looking at it? Is, you know, why go to a store when the download's always going to be there?
Yeah,
you know,
unless they pull some like vault shit where it's like, oh, by the way, not only is the thing $30 and maybe over time it'll reduce or something, but you have to pay the $6, you know, and then adjust for inflation going forward for the subscription itself, right? But Disney's notorious with like locking shit away, quote unquote, in a vault,
right?
To like kind of like artificially like
they're creating scarcity, artificial scarcity,
out of fucking nowhere. So again, if they've done it before with physical fucking media, who's to say they won't do it with fucking digital shit? Especially if you need to basically pay to play, like literally this fucking content.
And here's the thing that gets me about this. I thought, perhaps mistakenly, I know like on Disney Plus, I don't have Disney Plus. I like to get it to see The Mandalorian, but I don't have it yet. But I thought, I know like all the Star Wars movies, all the Marvel movies, they're trying to get to that point where like that's the only place you can stream the things that they own.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. But I was under the impression that eventually all of their movies, Pixar, animated, live action together, would be on Disney Plus. Much like, for example, well, there's really nothing else like that. But let's say,
well, in the future, HBO Max, right? Like
right.
That's going to be the closest analogy.
Yes, thank you very much. So let's say Warner Brothers puts out some more DC movies. Eventually, the only home for those streaming will be on HBO Max, the streaming service.
Especially like original content, right? You know,
sure,
whether it's Disney with like the Marvel stuff or Star Wars, like showy type things, and the same thing with HBO, right?
Yeah, but isn't Mulan eventually just going to be another movie you can stream on Disney Plus? Like, isn't it going to be part of the catalog? So why?
Yeah, that's another thing too. It's like you're paying a premium for.
What they're doing, it kind of strikes against that, you know?
Exactly, because that's one of the first thing that popped into my head. It's like, well, wait a minute, this is a first-party movie that you made. Eventually, you would think it's going to be just another one of the movies in your catalog on your streaming service. So why pay $30? Just wait like 5 months. We've already been waiting because it's been delayed so many times because the theaters are closed. Just wait a few more months, and you could see it for fucking free. Like.
Well, maybe you'll have to wait like that amount of months because then they'll put it in the fucking vault.
Well, that's what I was going to say. To your point, Kyle, is or are they going to pull some bullshit where they're creating their own scarcity with their own product on their own streaming service because they want to upcharge people and
It's
say,
like a bullying style where they really want you to fucking do it.
right, well, we're not going to put it on the streaming service unless you pay the $30 to see it, and then continue to pay us a subscription fee on top of it. I would hope that they're not going to do that because that is straight up bullying bullshit.
Now, devil's advocate, isn't it Disney's right as the content creator to do whatever the fuck they want?
Sure it is, but I guess if you're going to pay $30 for something that you don't technically own, and I know physical media sales have been declining for years and years steadily, just go buy the Blu-ray. Because honestly, the Blu-ray, which you can own and keep forever, is going to be cheaper than $30.
Yeah, Blu-ray discs are nigh on indestructible, so
it'll probably be $20. So you could have a physical copy of the movie and own it forever, regardless.
Yeah, have they announced what they're going to do with the physical release of Mulan?
I would assume that after a few months, like everything else, it'll get a physical. Yeah, they'll want to get as many people to buy in once they release it in September as possible, I'm sure. And then probably by Christmas, you'll see it out on Blu-ray and DVD for the 7 people who still buy DVDs. But, you know.
Although I do see, like, another counter to this is that, and also, like, incentivizing, and I'm not, like, glorifying anything illegal here, allegedly. I'm just saying that what's to, like, dissuade someone from, they have Disney Plus, one person, right, buys the Mulan license, quote unquote, to fucking watch this thing, and then they basically just record their screen.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then now distribute it to every torrent, allegedly, or like their own network, allegedly. Like the shit's not encoded, as far as I know. So
yeah, I'm sure there'll be people who do that. I wouldn't doubt that it'll happen right away. I know that some people were doing that with The Mandalorian. They were recording it and dumping it on torrent sites, and I'm definitely not supporting piracy, but you could see how people would be pissed off and would do that. I mean, people do that all the time, right? People do it with, like, we're doing it with Game of Thrones and all that shit.
Which even HBO was, like, happy about, because they're like, yeah, fuck it. Get your friends to watch it. Get your grandma to watch it. Like, fucking whatever, man. Like, we've made enough money as it is, so fuck it. But I doubt the mouse would be as lenient.
My main issue with this is I think it's cool that first-rate, big-budget movies are coming to VOD. I don't mind paying an upcharge because I'm getting to see it before it hits rental, or it's skipping theaters. So technically, it's the first release of the movie. I'm fine with that. The only thing I have a problem with is, like you said at the very beginning, Kyle, does this become the new normal? Do we just keep pushing this more and more, where you never own things, but you're paying a lot of money up front to see them, and then you have to pay continually monthly? That to me
if you want to watch it again,
that's a dark future where I lose. I just keep.
Very fucking slow.
Yes, it is, and that's why if I really like a movie, I still buy Blu-rays. I like the increased fidelity. The picture is still better than streaming, even in 4K. The audio, it's always better, at least for right now, on physical media anyway, and it's cheap. If you wait a little bit, you can get Blu-ray super cheap. So
also, like digitally, like so like I said, I jumped on the Voodoo train, and last night I ended up renting Parasite, that Korean movie from the guy that did Snowpiercer.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen it, but I heard
Akja, I think that's how you pronounce it. And it was like $3.99, I think, to rent the fucking thing. So rented it, and I had like, I think, I could be wrong about this, but I had like 24 hours, I think, to finish the fucking thing.
It's 24 hours.
Yeah, it's 24 hours.
And I gotta tell you, the renting experience for $4, like, I mean, I enjoyed the movie, but yeah, I rented it. I'm happy I saw it. It's kind of one of those movies where I don't think I would need to own it, so I guess that puts the bias slant into it. Mm-hmm. But again, I don't see a problem with that.
Well, you only spent $4. That's the thing.
Yeah, again, like, so the idea, right, of buying a fucking like early access fucking window to a movie for like this premium price is fucking ridiculous to me.
You're arguing for patience instead.
But even like the Like, let me.
Well, it's like
see
no
here
different than
we're-
if the movie was coming out in the theater and you're like, yeah, I want to see that, but I'm not going to pay it to go see it in the theater. I'll just wait for it to come out on rental, and then I'll.
Yeah,
It's
because
really-
they have movies that are like quote unquote either in theaters or theater at home is how they designate it,
Yeah.
and like the theater at home shit is like $20, and it's like, all right, I mean $20 is still fucking kind of a bit fucking steep, but if it was something that you were like really looking forward to, like again, it's like a value proposition question, right? Where it's like,
Yes.
how do you judge someone? Like if someone really likes somehow they really like fucking Mulan, like the cartoon movie, and they want to see this live action shit, and or they're just like that Disney person that just fucking needs it as soon as it comes out. Like, all right, man, like there's voting with your dollars because you know that's your thing. I just across the board, I don't think it's gonna work. Like, I think that's gonna keep us from the dark apocalypse with this shit. That I don't think it works across the board for a lot of content.
I mean, sure. I was actually reading the other day that a lot of people, I guess they did a survey. A lot of people were saying, "Yeah, we're not paying $30 to see this movie." Well, which shocking. Again, if you have a family of 4 or something, if you have like 2 kids or 3 kids, then I completely get how this is way cheaper than going to a theater, which you can't go to anyway right now. But if you're just one person, I completely understand how some people are like, nah, son, I'll pay the $5.99, the standard VOD, or like Carl said, some shows are like $3.99, depending on how long it's been since the movie was released. Right? They'll pay $5-6 to rent a movie, but I'll just wait 2 more months. Like my life's not going to end if I can't see Mulan right now. I'm not going to stop breathing. Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to stop breathing if I can't watch Mulan tonight. Oh God, how am I going to live? I'll just wait another 2 or 3 months and pay $5. I completely get it. So,
but even I mean, the counter to that counter, right, is almost the same thing. Like, tying it to video games in a way is like
just
the annual releases. Well, no. Like the annual releases, right? So like the people that just play Call of Duty or they just play Madden, like a yearly franchise, year after year. They'll buy it day one at 60 or 70 in the near future, right? Because of the zeitgeist, or because that's like what them and their friends do. Like that's part of their kind of community, right? So I guess the counter to our counter is that, right? Where it's like the zeitgeist could be more like pressuring than we think it is, even with like a conscientious consumer, that it could still kind of persuade them to just do it. But so you could be one of the few people at the watering hole at work to talk about the new Mulan movie. I mean, just for example, that's not going to happen at my fucking job, but yeah, I don't know.
I don't want to keep rehashing, but I'm sure we might have already. But I'm more concerned about the impact that this has going forward. How normal or how widespread this becomes, and that's an issue that I think is worth thinking about.
Oh, it definitely is a curious case of like how this is, again, just like what we said, where
how much is the market going to tolerate?
Yeah, vote with your dollars, and is that even enough? Considering that the position that Disney is in, like, could they just can Disney afford just to outweigh people, or like choose what hill to die on, as far as like how much they're willing to charge, or how much like negative like press or attention they're willing to garner in service of whatever figure they need to make or they think they need to make.
I mean, I'll tell you, I haven't read a whole lot about this since this announcement. That's been positive. Everything that I've seen from people has been like, "Hey, what the fuck is this shit? $30 to basically rent." I mean, you can call it owning if you want. I'm just going to say what it is. You're basically you're renting this movie, and then you'll have access to it as long as you keep paying for their service. That's
even
renting.
One of my coworkers who has 2 kids, and they always try to watch movies like this because their kids are like 12 and 8 or something. She was like, I'm not going to give them $30 to rent this movie. And I was like, yeah, exactly. This is a parent's point of view. They're like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially these days. I mean, Jesus. I mean, not only do like any good news is great news, right? Considering the times we're in, but also like fiscal responsibility is more important than ever because of the uncertainty of everything. And then you have companies like this that just kind of throw this out there where it's like questionable. I'm not sure who you
Again,
thought
if you
was going to
broach
think
this
this was positive.
as a $20 rental, I think more people could get behind it in that sense because it's a more reasonable way.
Yeah.
But again, like how often we've watched movies on just Amazon streaming when it comes out, and it's a $5 rental, and you have it for the 24 or 48 hours or whatever they give you now, and that's HD quality. So it's not like you're watching, this garbage stream of it. It's still good. So $30, I think, is a little too much, and I don't know if it's just the Mouse House and their eager greediness of we want to milk every dollar and penny out of you.
I would say yeah.
I think it's that, and I also think that they're into this movie for a lot of money, and they're trying to recoup some of that. And I also think that they're definitely testing the market to see how much they can get away with.
Yeah.
Because again, I mean, if other companies follow suit, I can't really put the heat on them. But you bet your ass I can bring the heat on the fucking harbinger of all this shit.
Oh, you can bet the other studios.
A side note, the production cost of Mulan was $200 million.
Wow. So not counting all of the what do you call
marketing
budget?
Probably
the marketing, right? And marketing can often. I mean, I don't know if they cut the marketing because, like I said, the movie was delayed twice, but I'm sure they spent some money on marketing at least. But generally speaking, for some of these big movies, like that was supposed to be a big summer blockbuster, the marketing budget can be as much as the production budget. Like I wouldn't doubt that they're close to 500 mil all in on that movie, which is insane. So basically, the movie has to make $1 billion, to be worth their time. You're not going to make $1 billion on streaming. You're just not. So I really think that they're just trying to see how much they can get away with, and then look at Black Widow, right? That was Disney's other big summer movie was the Black Widow solo movie, which I really want to see. If this does well, say that this does gangbusters, which I don't think it's going to. Let's say Mulan does great numbers for them. Do they just put Black Widow out on Disney Plus? Do we?
Another thing I don't want to see.
There was an interview with Disney's CEO that said Mulan was a quote-unquote one-off. But again,
I don't buy that
for
fucking second.
The off chance that this does excruciatingly well, there's no fucking way this is a one-off.
Yeah, I don't believe that for a second. That's bullshit.
That's basically oh no, we're trying to cover our ass, but...
Yeah, that's a kidding face.
Yeah.
Fucking...
yeah. Because initially, when the story broke, there were rumors that it was going to be both Black Widow and Mulan, because those were their two big summer movies. So I would not put it past them at all. It's not Bob Iger anymore. It's some other guy named Bob.
The other Bob.
Yeah, the other Bob. They brought Bob Iger back, actually, because of there you go, Bob Chapek. He used to run the parks division, I think. They actually did bring Bob back because of the pandemic. They were hemorrhaging money because the parks were closed. So they actually called Bob Iger back to be like, hey, we need a steady hand. This isn't the right time for a new CEO to be jumping into the fire. So they technically have like co-CEOs right now, but I don't believe that for a minute that this is a one-off. That's complete horseshit.
It's been another episode of the Harsh Language Podcast. You can find us on Apple Podcasts. We're hosted by Podbean. You can also find us on a bunch of different podcast apps. We should be amongst you all by now. We also have a presence on Twitter, which I always forget.
Twitter.com/harshcast. HARSHCAST.
Yeah, check us out on Twitter. If people leave a comment, maybe something you'd like for us to talk about. Tweet at us, sell your soul, give into the Twitter overlords, and just let us know what you might want to. Let us know what you. I was doing a promotion, and you safe worded me on a promotion. It
was all this corporate talk. Frank was like, enough. We can't.
We can't go too far.
Let's draw the line.
We're losing them, Jim.
Yes. We're over here don't get me wrong, I hate Twitter, but God, if it wasn't for this podcast, I wouldn't even be using it. But we have it, so you might
Good
as
messaging.
well.
Good
Yes,
messaging.
Yeah,
good.
please. Feel free to reach out. Let us know.
I'm being honest. Yeah, let us know if there's something you want us to talk about. Give us some constructive criticism. You know,
if we can get a reasonable amount of responses, we can maybe do like a fan segment.
yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, any questions or concerns or what have you?
Kyle's home
Nudes?
address is
Kyle's
naked
home
pictures,
address.
naked pictures of your mom, harsh language show at gmail.com. Feel free.
Nantucket.
There once was a man from Nantucket.